Greetings, I'm glad you could be here. Welcome back to HFY Storytime with your host, the Casual Deathworlder, where I narrate HFY short stories. On deck today, we have The Requiem, Voices from the End of the Universe, Excerpts, by user Corscaria. Original story link is in the video description. Please check it out and give the author some love. And while you're at it, take a moment to head on over to Patreon and check me out over there. Consider becoming a supporter and help keep my editor in pizza. Before we dive in, let me take a quick moment to give a shout out to my Tier 4 patrons, Russ of the Frozen North, Neo5AC, Nick, and Zachary Langmead. Thank you very much. And without any further ado, I give you The Requiem, Voices from the End of the Universe, Excerpts. Chapter 1, The End of the Universe. My name is Alice. I stare out of the aftmost window of the last stand, the survival ship, a gargantuan construction designed by humans and cooperatively built by 2,000 species in a desperate race against time. Behind the ship, the universe is coming to an end. Not in the poetic sense, not in the way the philosophers meant. The universe is literally dying. Technically, they tell us, it's just transitioning to a different metastable phase, but baryonic matter can't exist beyond the haze. Actually, that's not even accurate. It becomes impossible long before you reach the haze. Not that that stops morons from trying. They launch missions to find a safe passage through it, clinging to the false hope that it's just a wave of destruction and not a fundamental change in the nature of reality. They say that because, well, we see things beyond the haze. We shouldn't. We shouldn't see anything at all. Not from this size. Light shouldn't pass through. Not from destroyed matter. Not from the restructured reality where atoms can't exist. And yet, we do see things. Shapes. Movements. Lights. The Last Stand has no destination. It's not a colony ship. It's a lifeboat without an ocean. It's the largest FTL-capable vessel ever built, and we're just running. 12 billion lives across 2,000 species packed into this abomination. Every few hundred light years we stop, strip mine planets, steal water, metals, DNA, anything we can use. Sometimes we find new sapients and take a breeding population before moving on. The ship is still growing. Not the population, though that too. No, the ship grows. We use the materials we gather to expand it, always expanding, trying to make more room for the new species, for the new births. But no matter how big it gets, it never feels less crowded. It's the size of a small moon now, and only the FTL drive's manipulation of spacetime keeps it from collapsing under its own weight. So, no, we don't discourage those idiots from flying into the haze. If anything, we smile when they go. Voluntary gene pool improvement. But the haze is catching up. It expands at just under the speed of light. Not quite. Maybe 0.999 C. That tiny difference means that we can keep running. For now. But the ship isn't self-sustaining. There are too many of us, and we have to stop. Every stop costs time, and the haze gains. Chapter 2, Andrea, Witness of the Last System. My name is Andrea. I'm one of the last few million humans aboard the Last Stand. My grandmother was Alice, one of the original passengers, and the author of one of the most quoted passages in the Requiem, the largest book ever written. It holds a single statement from every passenger old enough to speak, across more than 2,000 species. Now I stand at the aft window, just as she once did, and I look out into the dying universe, where the Milky Way should be, a sweep of stars and dust stretching across eternity. There is only the haze that took everything. 90% of our home galaxy has been consumed, but it's not empty. That's the most terrifying part. We see structures, star-like forms forming in the haze, but spectroscopy tells us they're not made of matter, not as we know it. The haze didn't destroy the universe. It rewrote it. Everything that was, all the planets and people and dreams, was converted into raw energy, then recomposed into something that can exist in that alien phase. We now know there's no crossing it, no hope of survival on the other side. The fools have stopped trying. The last stand is the size of Earth, or so we're told. None of us have ever seen a planet, not really. Only the elders of the most recently acquired species have first-hand memories of standing on soil that wasn't processed from the dead. We don't take survivors anymore, not since the last haze nearly overtook us 50 years ago. We had to run non-stop, decades of acceleration, systems straining, fuel barely holding. We left behind the last flickers of civilization. In the early years, the plagues came. We lost 90% of most species in less than a generation. Their remains, sterilized, purified, became soil. Thousands of types of engineered dirt, each tailored to grow the exact biologies needed to feed the survivors. We are nearly self-sustaining now, and we have the room my grandmother never did. Entire forests grow in the old cargo holds. Oceans churn inside repurposed fusion chambers. Even now, we remain a refugee ship, running. Up ahead of us is a system, the last system, still within what was once the Milky Way. 4 living worlds in its habitable zone, the records say. It's the first time in 50 years that we've even considered stopping. It will be our last stop for centuries. A final breath before we plunge into the intergalactic dark. No one knows what lies beyond. We stopped dreaming long ago. But some of us still wonder. Chapter 3 Thrix the 12th Log from the Edge of Time. I am Thrix the 12th. My people are the Curata. I know nothing of the homeworlds we came from. None of us do. The stars that once lit our skies are long gone, devoured or rewritten by the haze. I am bonded to Sakura Arisu, a human. Together, we've raised 7 adopted hatchlings from different species. We're a strange family by ancient standards, I'm told. Interspecies pairings were once unheard of. Same-gender bonds were also rare in many cultures. But here aboard the Last Stand, love looks different. It had to evolve to survive. We are happy, and our family is whole. Ahead of us lies a new galaxy. Arisu calls it Andromeda. My people call it Kree. It is vast, larger even than the galaxy we left behind, the galaxy that no longer exists. Arisu finds it disconcerting. She says it shouldn't be possible for our home galaxy to be gone already. Only 12 generations have passed. The haze expands slower than light, just under 1C. After some digging, Arisu uncovered the truth. Our FTL doesn't shield us from time dilation. Not completely. It mitigates it, yes, but only just. We've been moving at 100 times the speed of light for several centuries. Our subjective time flow is only at 0.1% of what it should. A decade for us is 10,000 years to the universe. And so, without realizing it, we outran time. The haze has long since swallowed our past. The stars of home are gone, their planets converted into potential energy and reformed into alien matter. Some believe we should go back. They see a new galaxy forming within the haze, shimmering, vibrant. But those voices are few. We know better. What forms in the haze cannot support baryonic matter. It is beautiful and utterly hostile. Researchers call it metastablic matter now, a new physics, unknowable to us, a different kind of existence entirely, and a horrible name. But here's what truly haunts them. We can still see the haze. We shouldn't. Given the distances involved, we shouldn't be able to see light from the haze yet. But what we observe appears to be real time. We see it as it is now, not as it was. And no one knows how that's possible. Even out here beyond the edge of the known, reality continues to fracture. But we keep moving towards Kree, towards something. Chapter 4. Maka of the Stravu. I am Maka, head research engineer aboard the last stand of the Stravu. We still don't know how we can see the haze, but every model, every calculation, we should have outpaced its photons before we even left our home galaxy. And yet, there it is, hanging in the distance at the rim of what my people call Velm, a galaxy far more active than our own ever was, a galaxy that was once the largest visible object in our homeworld skies. We passed it by without stopping. Millions of civilizations, signs of Dyson structures, orbital megaswarms, quanto-echo engines. Half of them are already consumed. The other half, if they live, are now behind us. We can only hope they build their own lifeboats, but we'll never know. Our instruments have begun detecting strange fluctuations in our warp field. At first, it was just minor deviations in curvature telemetry, but now it's undeniable. The faster we go, the larger the field becomes, exponentially. We've accidentally captured an entire red dwarf star system in our wake. It is following us within our own distortion bubble. Its velocity matches ours, passively entrained by the tidal edges of the warp field. The implications are staggering. We may be unintentionally dragging matter across intergalactic space, not debris, but whole solar systems. There's been a discussion of sending an expedition, but anyone who leaves the last stand won't be able to catch back up. Space is not stationary within the field, except near the last stand. It churns. Still, the science team is tempted. A red dwarf system, preserved like an insect in amber, untouched by the haze, existing within our own frame of time. A rare constant in a universe dissolving into phase change entropy. And there's something else. Something ahead. A void, unfolding, growing, directly in our path. It isn't approaching. It's moving away from us, but it's expanding and aligned with our trajectory. We've ruled out gravitational lensing, stellar absence, and dark matter occlusion. This isn't empty space. It's something else, like a scar or a tunnel. We suspect this, too, is a side effect of our warp field. It's kept us alive, yes, but it may be reshaping space on scales we were never meant to touch. For now, we continue forward. There is no other direction. Chapter 5. Mayan of the Bast.
I am man of the past. The haze is still technically visible behind us, but it's so small, so distant, that no one can see it with the naked eye anymore. It's become a memory, or perhaps a myth. What dominates our attention now is the void ahead. We've confirmed it's a stable distortion in space-time geometry, not a gravitational anomaly, not a wormhole, not nothing. It's formless, not empty, just undefined. Astrometric scans show that it's expanding, and despite what our eyes suggest, we've already entered it. We've been inside the void for some time now. It's absolutely the result of our warp field. That much is certain. The faster we went, the more it stretched and warped space in front of us, around us, and now behind us. It's begun to peel space-time open. Here's the terrifying part. When our warp field collapses, and it will, this void will be launched forward, a rupture in geometry tearing through normal space. Anything in its path will be annihilated until the distortion dissipates. Fortunately, we weren't headed towards a galaxy. The void will carve through empty space for at least the next 10,000 years. But that's not the worst of it. We need to stop. But we can't, because the warp engine has already exploded. We just didn't know it. Something like a time dilation rebound is masking the detonation, delaying its effects from reaching our subjective frame. The engineering decks are already gone. We're feeling the echoes now. Structural tension, deck-wide quakes, disruptions in inertial compensation. All personnel are relocating. We are preparing to abandon ship. The 5 planetary bodies orbiting the red dwarf system, those are our only hope. They were caught in our warp wake centuries ago, and they've remained entrained. They're alive. Barely. We've confirmed microbial ecosystems on all 5. 3 are deep in snowball phases, likely caused by sudden oxygenation. None of them have complex life. If we settle them, we erase whatever future evolution these microbes might have had. But we don't have a choice. We have billions of people, and this ship isn't going to survive much longer. We estimate 1.5 cycles, maybe less, before the time-dilated detonation reaches temporal parity and destroys the rest of the last stand. We're stripping the outer hull to build more shuttles. The first wave will disembark within the hour. Not everyone is leaving. There are conspiracy theories spreading. Nonsense about how the explosion isn't real, or that the void is salvation, not destruction. Some think this is all just propaganda from the high command to seize control of the new worlds. We've seen this before. Denial in the face of annihilation. Let them stay. We need the space. The captured red dwarf system actually passed us some time ago, but now, as our velocity decreases with the collapsing warp field, it's drifting back towards us. One last grace. Tide lock has been avoided thanks to complex orbital resonances, a miracle of inertial conditions. We may be able to build lives there. Simple lives. Cold. Scarred. But alive. For the first time in thousands of generations, we will live on something again. Soil, sky, not steel. This is the end of the last stand, and maybe the beginning of the first settlement.
Mika Stein, Homo sapiens. Final entry.
My name is Mika Stein, and I am 114 years old. I have been asked to record the final entry in the Requiem. Not because I am the last human, but because I am the last Homo sapiens. I was born and lived near the core of the last stand, where relativistic effects slowed time to a crawl. 10,000 generations passed elsewhere in the ship while I lived a single lifetime. The humans who remain, they've changed, evolved. They look like me, but they are not what I am. I've been genetically confirmed as a different species now. I am the last of my kind. I was lucky. When the core began to fail, I was already in the hospital. The evacuation teams got me aboard the shuttle A New Hope in time. Not everyone came. Some refused to leave, believers in the old myths, or simply unwilling to face the end. As we depart, I look back through the observation deck, and I see it, the last stand. Our home, our world, our refuge, our prison, tearing itself apart in near stillness, like a painting unraveling thread by thread, held together only by memory and light delay. Had we waited even a few seconds more, we wouldn't have made it. Now, all we can do is weep. We carry with us the last fragments of that journey. And I am being taken to the warmest of the 5 worlds orbiting our little tag-along star system. They say I wouldn't survive on the others. My body is too old, too weak for the cold. And yet, I go with hope. The world we named Elessa. They say it means shelter of the first, in the language of the Ba.
Captain Verve of the Last Stand speaking. It is with deep regret that I announce the passing of Mika Stein. She died during the final entry to the Requiem. She never set foot on our new worlds. May her memory live among the stars, and may these 5 fragile planets shelter us for the next few billion years, before the haze threatens us again. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am the Casual Deathworlder, your host, and this has been The Requiem, Voices from the End of the Universe. I hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. If you did, please go ahead and smash those like and subscribe buttons and maybe drop us a comment down below. And while we're at it, let me give a huge shout out to my editor, Gregor. Thank you very much, buddy. I could not do this without you. Okay. Question, who's got the question? Boxers, briefs, or commando? Leave your answers in the comments down below. Until next time, be safe, be well. I love you all. Bye-bye.